Good day, everyone. My name is Mark Grobe. I'm going to talk to you about UPS's XR Enterprise experience. We'll talk about XR the Brown way. I am the head of the Immersive Tech Center here at UPS. My job is basically to be the evangelist and the internal advocate for implementing technology like VR and AR inside of UPS. First, we'll talk about the history, the amazing journey UPS has already been on as it relates to XR and our developments. After which we'll also talk about our internal process, what we call institutionalization of VR and AR inside of UPS. And lastly, we'll talk about our challenges. So our story generally starts back in 2016. Back in 2016, UPS developed and explored the concept of using VR in driver training. Very quickly, this technology was released in 2017 and 2018 to our domestic intergrad centers, where we used this VR simulation to train drivers to safely detect and declare hazards and increase their driver safety. This technology was ideal because it created a consistent and sustainable virtual experience to train on our intergrad methods for hazard detection and prevention. In the same year of 2016-2017, we also looked at using mixed reality. And here we have our hollow maintenance concept, where we created a POC to assist driver maintenance in regards to maintenance of vehicles and to follow our typical PMIs in regards to auditing and sending out vehicles for road. Then in 2018, we had the opportunity to expand the development of our Intergrad VR internationally. This technology platform was a little more advanced. We utilized the ability to deploy the same experiences with multilingual support, as well as using the geospatial information to actually generate the driving paths that the drivers will drive based on their region. Currently, we deployed this in Europe with UK and Germany as additional sites in that year. And we're currently expanding both domestically and internationally this platform. So as of last year, with the success of a lot of the proofs of concepts, as well as some of these programs you're seeing here, it became apparent to upper management that we needed to start implementing and standardizing our use of this technology inside of UPS. And that created the advent of the Immersive Tech Center, which is now what I lead. The plan in the coming year and previous year is to standardize and create more effective universal platforms for VR and AR training at UPS, as well as other applications which are not yet public, but we hope to announce them soon. In regards to institutionalization, as I said before at UPS, we created my group, the Immersive Tech Center. Our primary focus is to assist business and to identify their business needs and how it relates to using XR. On top of that, we provide the ability to educate and train them on the technology and give them exposure to the technology of XR. On a regular basis, we create prototypes and proofs of concepts for a range of business groups, as well as we provide architectural guidance for the technology. So our role also extends into not only the software development side of it, but the actual aspects of long-term support in our IT infrastructure environment. So with those acting roles, there's some key things as well. The ideas of security and practiced evaluations of XR, right? Our role is to assist upper management in defining roadmaps, providing methodologies and guidelines to scale, as well as ensuring for every project that there's a level of ROI that's maintained and supported to create that solution for our business. And as well, we help in assisting and lowering technical debt. So with all these new forms of technology, when these technologies get deployed in the field, there's a certain amount of training and technical support that's needed to maintain these products in the environment. Otherwise, honestly, you're just simply creating a paperweight. And the last piece here is, as an internal evangelist, we identify the importance of internal teams assisting in integrating any of these XR projects into the UPS digital ecosystem. And of course, lastly, providing support and getting assistance and greenlit from our senior management, which at UPS, we're very fortunate to have a broad range of executives that support the VR, XR, AR developments here at UPS. And that's key. Having everybody on board as a team is a big key part of institutionalization here at UPS. The last piece here is challenges. One of the big challenges we see at UPS when it comes to deploying any sort of XR, so AR, VR, MR technology, is how currently the technology is managed and deployed in the space. In consumer or entertainment markets, we see personal device management. Personal device management in those markets works fine. But when you look at the enterprise and what we do, personal device management does not work. We work in shifts in enterprise. A piece of XR hardware, a wearable, may be used by numerous people during the day. So think of it almost as an expo environment, right? There's a large cycle of users using the same device. Having the lack of ability to very easily and very quickly switch between users and not support a shift management type of device schema or methodology is a big problem we see in the current trend of XR. Another aspect to this is obviously data security and the concept of hardware vendors and solution providers are collecting data and they're not disclosing to their enterprise users how that data is being used. It's a big concern in our trade, considering the fact that you see a lower point there. We deal with unions and other trade organizations where part of our negotiations with those organizations clearly define how our company, from a business standpoint, is allowed to use data. So the question of how data is collected, how data is used, becomes an integral question when you're dealing with XR and enterprise. The last thing we want to do is create some sort of trade disagreement by mishandling our employees' data. At UPS, we take employee data very seriously. We want to make sure that data is safe. Another aspect is operating systems. A lot of the concerns we have is a lot of the solutions out there are rooted to a specific operating system version. There's no upgradability. From a standpoint of enterprise tech, that creates technical debt. So what happens is a device, obviously as it grows older, and specifically in the VR and AR markets, we see exponential device growth, where in 6 months, something's old and out of date. That's not attractive to enterprise because we want to invest into the devices that we are deploying into the field. And if it can't be upgraded, can't be supported, you're increasing our technical debt because now additional resources need to be assigned to maintain that equipment. So that's a big challenge for us here in our enterprise. I talked about trade unions before, data security. There are certain solutions out there that the device needs to call back to the hardware maker to actually operate. And if it can't, it won't operate. Well, in enterprise, specifically ours, we have a very protected network. So the probability of it ever talking to the vendor system is nil to none. So if it can't support something local or something that's integrated into our enterprise where we manage it, it's a no-go. And the last piece I'll talk about is rugged devices and shift-based users, right? We talked about it in the first part. We have a lot of users coming in on their shift to use a particular piece of hardware. The ability to switch in and out of that device becomes very important. 5 minutes is a lot when in our business we count seconds as a form of productivity. So if it takes me 5 minutes to log into a device, my manager was not going to be very happy with that. And the trade unions will find that they simply won't use the equipment. So the ability to speed up the ability of shifting between users is very important. And we really don't see that sort of solution right now in enterprise. The other key thing is the current wearable market out there, there are very few, if any, that support outside environment. So rain, direct sunlight, things of that nature. We have use cases where users are working on the hard, hot tarmac on an aircraft. And if they can't utilize the device to its fullest in direct sunlight on the tarmac, that's a no-go, right? Or, hey, we have wearables and we're assisting a driver in the field on a stormy night in a spot on the thruway where there's very little support for data. The device needs to work in the rain, right? If we're talking about training in the environment of, say, a facility, right? Can the device handle the ruggedness and we'll just describe it as employees' miscare of the equipment? You know, having a hand controller go flying across the room because it slips out of someone's hand. You know, the device needs to bounce off the wall and just get right back up and work. It can't, you know, crack and shatter into a million pieces. So ruggedness is very important. And then the last piece, of course, is when dealing with enterprise in our business, there's always a chance that one of our users is going to take that device and go into a space where there is no internet. So we need the ability to cache the content locally. For some training, that may be useful. And in a lot of cases, when we review these enterprise solutions, very few provide that sort of operation leeway between the ability to dynamically cache versus have to draw constantly from some sort of SaaS service. So these are the challenges we see at UPS. And we are in it for the long haul. And we want to see all parties come together. And we want to see this technology succeed. Because in the end, we all benefit. And we all kind of want to work together to make this technology great. So thank you for your time. And I hope you found this valuable. And I look forward to your questions in the Q&A.